1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, if you have already tuned in on Facebook or YouTube, actually YouTube shouldn't go live for a couple of minutes. This is meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. We're doing an audio check for the First Alert weather show that comes up at 7:15. Got a tropical storm to talk about and got some dry weather to talk about, but we do have some rain and some humidity. We got a little bit of everything coming up at 7:15. I'll be back in under 2 minutes. Okay, under a minute to go, everyone. This is meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. Be with you in a minute for the 7:15 live streaming weather show. And actually, it's much less than a minute. I lost track of time. We are ready to go. And here we are. Take a look at this. This is the American flag on top of the Dalton Street Post Office, just west of Interstate 75. See the traffic's moving along pretty well overall. It's a warm evening out there. It's not too humid. Every once in a while, there's a little bit of a breeze, so it's a very comfortable evening. If you're about to go out for evening plans, things are looking pretty good out there. Hi there, I'm Steve Horstmeyer, Chief Meteorologist here at Fox 19 Now. This is our 7:15 live streaming weather show. We do this every Monday through Friday at 7:15. If you like this concept, at noon each day, Monday through Friday, there's a streaming weather show, same place as you're looking at this. For Saturday and Sunday, we haven't forgotten the weekends, 11 a.m., both Saturday and Sunday. Meteorologist Ashley Smith has her live show, and then at 6 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, meteorologist Ethan Emery is in with his version of the streaming weather show. And you can see behind me there that the flag every once in a while picks up a little bit, but overall, pretty nice evening around the tri-state. And we are talking, again, about more humidity on its way back into the tri-state, and that humidity is going to definitely make it feel very uncomfortable, especially during the day on Friday. But overall, we'll begin to see that humidity increase on Saturday. So it seems like I'm stalling. I lost connectivity to the weather computer. It's back now, and here we go. Okay, we are talking about Tropical Storm Ernesto, 60-mile-an-hour sustained winds right now. And you can see that it is heading toward Puerto Rico. Okay, that's where San Juan is on the north shore there of Puerto Rico. And I'll show you the forecast track here in just a minute, but they do expect it to strengthen to hurricane strength. Remember, 74 miles an hour is hurricane strength, and it's not quite there yet. It is expected to make it there, and you can just get a perspective for where it is relative to the United States. And the good news is it is not expected to impact the U.S. Okay, so here it is, and you can see this particular forecast from the Hurricane Center says that the center of the storm will bypass San Juan, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is the island right here, okay? So it's going to trend to the north of that and head to the north, become a Category 1 and 2 storm. So it's going to be a pretty strong hurricane, not historic dimensions, but pretty strong. And if you look at where it's going, right now the forecast has it going right over the Bermuda Islands, okay? So right here, San Juan down here to the bottom, Category 2 all the way up, right here's Bermuda, okay? The islands around Bermuda, and they have it as a Category 2 past Bermuda and all the way into the North Atlantic Ocean. And that's the latest forecast from the Hurricane Center. And the good news is there are a lot of systems coming off the United States that are going to kind of keep this out to sea. So right now we're not expected to see it make landfall in the U.S. and even in Puerto Rico, which is part of the U.S. the center of it will stay offshore, according to the latest forecast from the Hurricane Center. And there you see it moves past Bermuda, and it's really hundreds of miles off the coast of Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware by the time we get to the last line there, which is Sunday at 3 p.m. with 105 mile an hour sustained winds. And so that is pretty good news for the U.S. Okay, if you happen to be going to the Cincinnati Open here over the next couple of days, high temperature tomorrow, 88. Now, so it's going to be kind of hot sitting in those stands. Thursday, I think the morning events are rain-free. The afternoon and early evening events may end up encountering a shower or a thunderstorm, and the same thing during the day on Friday. And neither of those days, Thursday or Friday, looks like an all-day washout, but they do look to be widespread enough to impact the event. Airport temperatures at 7 p.m. in the low 80s, with the exception of Falmouth, Madison, and Batesville. Everybody else in our viewing area is in the low 80s. There are a couple of spots, 3 spots actually, outside of our viewing area. Richmond, Washington Courthouse, Chillicothe make that 4 spots, and Ashland that are in the 70s also. And dew point temperatures, again, now we have to take a look at where some of these are. One, Madison's off to the south and west, and so it's closer to the more humid air. That's why the dew point there is in the 60s. Batesville, that airport is surrounded by crops. Those crops transpire a lot of air, so that increases the dew point. Same reasoning with the Lebanon airport, surrounded by crops, so it's got a higher dew point. And Lunken Airport, they affectionately call it Sunken Lunken, is right at the junction of the Little Miami River and the Ohio River, and that valley has a high water table, so there's plenty of moisture around to keep that dew point in the 60s. But you notice every place else, except for Falmouth, dew points are in the 50s. So it's pretty comfortable out there, and even a dew point of 64, like in Lebanon, is enough to make you feel sticky, but it's not oppressive by any stretch of the imagination. The rainfall we've been watching all day. Now remember, we're the official weather provider for the Cincinnati Reds, and running a baseball team in the ballpark is an all-day event when there's a game, because you've got batting practice, you've got other stuff, you've got field work you've got to do, just a lot of stuff. And so as of this morning, I was telling them that that stuff that you see there in Missouri was in Kansas, not going to affect it. None of the models have it coming anywhere near, no rain, and so they're good for the game down at Great American Ballpark. I don't think, I know they're not going to see anything as far as rainfall goes around there. Now let's go ahead and take a look at model forecast. Now I'll put myself back on screen here to explain a few things. First of all, down here, and you'll be able to see it better because the monitor right there is blocking it. That's the hurricane, or the tropical storm Ernesto that will become a hurricane. Okay, here's a cool front out over the ocean, and here's that really warm, humid air, and here's a little bit of that drier air still trapped this side of the mountains. So I'm going to give it to you full screen, and we'll just see what happens. And I want to pay particular attention to Ernesto down there to the south. Okay, we'll put this into motion. Now you see Ernesto hooks up with that cold front and is guided on into the North Atlantic. You can see the eye right there, and the model does a pretty good job, but it does stay out to sea. And unfortunately, it could negatively impact Puerto Rico and then Bermuda as it has to the north, and then it's pretty much done. And notice that we go from very warm and very humid, and you might not have seen that, so let's back it up a little bit, and we can see this just a little bit better. So, okay, so here's what we've got. Here comes the hurricane by then. Notice in our neck of the woods, that warm, humid air, the orange stuff, orange-red stuff coming in. Then as the hurricane goes by, it kind of drags more dry air out of Canada. You see the blue coming down, and by the time we get into the weekend and next week, we're back into some nice weather for a while around the tri-state. So that's good news. We have some very sticky weather coming our way. You're going to notice Thursday that it's more humid. It's going to feel really humid on Friday. Saturday morning, excuse me, Saturday morning it's going to feel very humid. By Saturday afternoon, we're back to what we would call comfortable. So this evening, the sun sets at 8:37. I've got 81 right now, dropping 11 degrees to 70 by 11 p.m. The sun's back up at 6:50. The overnight low is 62. So for your morning commute, dry roads, clearing or clear skies. So there will be some spots that have some sun glare. Humidity still on the nice side, and temperatures will be in the low 60s around the tri-state. So that all adds up to a pretty much, at least from the weather, a trouble-free morning commute. Here's the forecast for tomorrow, up to 88 degrees. That'll be about 4 p.m. And we go to the Climate Prediction Center stuff. They're continuing at that cooler than normal area over to the tri-state. Now, if you remember yesterday when we looked at this map and then we looked at our 14-day forecast, they weren't in sync. They're in sync now, and I'll show you. So remember that cooler than normal through the 23rd of August. That cooler than normal kind of fades out, warms up, becomes a near normal area through the 27th of August. Then we go into warmer than normal through the 6th of September. Precipitation-wise, near to drier than normal through the 23rd. For the most part, drier than normal through the 27th, and near to drier than normal through the 6th of September. So the dry weather is not going to get any better. I've got stuff in my yard that is so dry I have to keep watering it, and you're probably going to have to do the same because there's just no real relief in sight. Now your 7-day forecast looks like this. Tonight's low 62, high tomorrow 88, 64 and 86 for Thursday, Friday 67 and 84. Now we've got some evening storms on Thursday. We've got scattered showers and thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon and evening on Friday, but scattered. Neither of those days will wash out. And if we take a look at what happens with the dew point temperature, you can see that the dew points Wednesday in the 50s, 57 for Thursday at 5 p.m., so still nice Thursday, but 72, whoa, on Friday at 5 p.m., so really humid, but dropping back down by Saturday afternoon to Saturday at 5 p.m. to 59, so Saturday morning will be sticky, uncomfortable, but as we go through the day on Saturday, it gets better. And then Saturday and Sunday, I can't rule out a pop-up shower or thunderstorm in a few spots both days. And then Monday and Tuesday, it looked dry. Now, when we go to beyond the 7-day forecast, you're going to see that high temperatures are near normal. A few days of rain, little or no rainfall total accumulation coming our way. As a matter of fact, it looks pretty dry in the tri-state. And then here's that summary forecast, and we'll show you where we kind of now are in sync with the the Climate Prediction Center. Okay, when we put the normal low temperature or normal low and high temperature lines on there, notice we're a little bit below normal right here, and then we go back to just about normal here, and that's what it said. It had that bullseye over us with cooler than normal, and then we went to near normal, and that's exactly what this is saying, and it says basically the same thing on the low temperature side. So nothing extreme. Good news for us about Ernesto. It may impact, but not in a big way, Puerto Rico. It may be a pretty big problem for Bermuda, but for the most part, it stays out to sea. Okay, now let's go ahead, do my normal thing at this time of day. Go and switch cameras. So I'm looking at the camera right there. And what we're going to do is go to the Facebook computer and see if we have any comments, questions, or whatever. All right, Mary Beaver says, hey, Steve. Mary Beaver's from Coleraine. Hi, Mary. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a good evening. And you were the first to say hi this evening, Mary. So thank you, and thank you for watching. And hope you find the information I'm giving you here useful. Okay? Melvin. I can always count on Melvin Stone Street to say hi. Yeah, it's going to be nice this week, except for late Thursday and Friday when it's going to be pretty sticky, Melvin. Billy Weissman. How much rain and storms are we going to get Thursday and Friday? Okay, Billy, looks like it'll be hit and miss stuff. Okay, so not everybody's going to get rain. And just like when we get pop-up thunderstorms, a few spots could get a good soaking. Most areas don't get much. And so that's it. I think if you happen to get hit by 1 or 2 thunderstorms Thursday and Friday, or Saturday and Sunday through that 4-day stretch, you could pick up 1.5 inches, but most areas will get nothing or a 1/4 inch or less, and really not enough to help out the situation. So, okay, then we've got Marjorie Selstad, prayers, Billy Weissman. July 31st, Baba Carson. Somebody started school, okay, in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. And that was first grade. Oh, let's see. Is it? I don't know if it's a mistyping that or not, but I can't read it. So, and then Christina Gilpin. She says that it's a beautiful day in Adams County. Rhonda K. Hall says hello. And then I think I have another one from Christina. German Shepherds love this weather. Still thinking about another dog, Christina. Yeah, I say go for it, Christina. This morning I took our dogs for a walk, and when it's cool like that, they just love it. And they're just like humans. When it gets really humid and hot, they just slog along and don't like it at all. Okay, where are we going here? Let's see. I kind of... Rhonda K. Hall. Okay, you said hi. All right. Mandy Goins. And Mandy wants to know if the storms could be severe. At this point, do not think so. Can't rule out one. We're not looking at any kind of organized severe storm situation that sweeps across the area. Can't rule out a stronger storm or two, especially Friday. But overall, it doesn't look like a chance of anything major that is going to be severe. So, okay, and I missed somebody. Oh, Aaron Ross. Hi, Aaron. Nice to have you back with us again. So, and thanks for joining. Okay, let me go back one more time and review a few things. And if I don't get any more comments, we'll just shut it down. So I imagine a lot of people are out enjoying the weather. Oh, and Andrea Rose, no storms this evening. It's going to be dry this evening completely. You may look stormy or cloudy in a few spots, but there's nothing coming in this evening. So if you're going out, you can enjoy it without worrying about the storms. All right, let's go back to Ernesto, Tropical Storm Ernesto. We'll talk about that for a couple seconds, and then we'll go review the forecast, and then we will be done. All right, so, and excuse me for a second while I take a drink here of Diet Mountain Dew. It was a big problem yesterday. We went down here to we've got a little area where we can buy stuff. They were out of Diet Mountain Dew, so I had to go back to Diet Coke, and it was not a good day. That helped my vocal cords a little bit. Okay, so this is Tropical Storm Ernesto. You see there. Let me see what's on the screen. Sorry about that. Oh, you may not be able to see it. Okay, so there's Tropical Storm Ernesto. It has 60-mile-an-hour winds. This will be updated at 10 or 11 p.m. today. Winds gusting to 70. It doesn't say that there, and it is becoming more and more organized. And they do expect the center of it to bypass Puerto Rico off to the north and east. And if we zoom out, you can get an idea of where it is relative to the United States. So it's pretty far out there. Here's the official forecast from the Hurricane Center. It's a tropical storm right now, becoming north of Puerto Rico, becoming a Category 1 hurricane. Wednesday at 2 p.m., a Category 1 hurricane. Category 2 as it heads to the north. And if you look at that, it's going to go, according to this forecast, right over top of Bermuda. Okay, and there's a little bit closer look at that. You say where it says Bermuda, it also says St. George. St. George is the community there. Bermuda is the country. So as a Category 2 hurricane. So that could be quite an issue. And again, there you kind of see the track. And that is one of those, at this time of the year, they typically form either off the coast of Africa near the Cape Verde Islands, and we call them Cape Verde hurricanes, or in this case, it formed in this tropical southern, or the tropical part of the North Pacific, the south part of that. So that was that. Okay, so let's go to the 7-day forecast. Okay, 7-day forecast coming up here in a second. As soon as it comes up, you'll see it full screen. Okay, there we go. And so what you've got here is a low tonight of 62 to high tomorrow makes it up to 88, 86 on Thursday, 84 on Friday. Notice scattered showers and thunderstorms from late Thursday into Friday. Saturday and Sunday each afternoon there may be a pop-up. Now here's what happens. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. That was the forecast from the other day for the Bengals. Okay, let's go back and let me hit the right one. Okay, now we got it. You can see the 5 p.m. dew points each day. So tomorrow in the 50s, not bad. Still in the 50s on Thursday, so not bad, but not getting really sticky till Thursday evening. The dew point peaks at 72 at 5 p.m. on Friday. So Friday, a very humid day. That humidity kind of hangs about the area until Saturday during the day. Now Saturday morning, going to start off very humid. So we're talking about the humidity getting better as the day goes on, so that by 5 p.m. on Saturday, it'll be very comfortable, and then back to just normal humidity for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So the rest of the 7-day forecast, so the chance of a shower or thunderstorm Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Monday and Tuesday look dry and warm, and then if you get to beyond the 7-day forecast, a chance for a few showers Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, the 27th, look dry. So, but with the question mark and the raindrop, those are all just hit and miss things. So the chance that you get the rain you need is pretty low through that 7-day stretch. And then as we go to 7-day plus, you have high temperatures, low temperatures, and the normals. Notice right here, back to camera 2. Okay, notice right here how the high temperatures are cooler than normal, and they go back up to normal, and that's what the Climate Prediction Center's forecast was saying. Below normal, and then near normal as we head toward the 27th of the month. Okay, let me check. Let's see, what am I trying to do? I don't even know what I'm trying to do here. All right, go back to that full screen. All right, so let me check now what we have on the Facebook computer. And if I don't have any more comments, we'll shut her down for the day. Oh, yeah, we've got a few more, okay. And then Christina Gilpin says, hey, an early fall, I wouldn't count on it. Okay, thanks, Fred. Matt Duncan, what happened to your finger? Oh, that's a great story. I'll tell you what, let me get back to, okay, this is an interesting story here, and I'm going to go back to the other camera so that you can see it. So what happened here, this finger is missed, so it's the ring finger on my right hand. I'm left-handed, and this is a good lesson in being careful when you're in somebody's wood shop. My dad was an amateur woodworker and all-around handyman. He loved to do his own stuff. Had all kinds of woodworking tools and that. And so I was making a brass lamp, old fire extinguisher, and you polish that up, and all the fittings you polish up because they're all made of brass, and they made really good-looking lamps. That was a big thing for a while. And so I was making one, and I was polishing brass. And my dad had a radial arm saw. Now, if you're not familiar with that, it's one of those it's on an arm, and you pull it out like this, okay? And you've got your workbench is like this. You put the wood on there, and you pull it through, and you cut it. And what you can do with a radial arm saw, what you can do is you can rotate the motor, and you can use the other shaft. So I rotated the motor, I locked it down so it wouldn't slide, and I put a chuck on the motor shaft, a chuck thing that holds a drill bit, and that way I could put a buffing wheel in there and I could buff the pieces of brass. What Steve didn't do, and that's number one of the things that I did that was stupid, is I didn't take the saw blade off the other side of the motor. So I just rotated it, used this end of the shaft, and I had the saw blade spinning at full speed a little bit away. Okay, number two, I was in my dad's garage, and it was unheated. And I was 30 years old at the time. It was unheated, temperature was about 25 degrees, so I had leather gloves on. Mistake number two. So what I did is, so here's the buffing wheel like this, rotating, and I'm buffing stuff with it. I get done buffing. Remember, right over here, you probably can't see it, but a little bit, let me back up this way. So here's the buffing wheel right here. It's spinning like this, and I'm buffing some brass. Right over here on the other end of the electric motor on the shaft is the saw blade. And it's like a brand new carbide tipped saw blade, which is really sharp. And so with the leather gloves on, which is a mistake around woodworking equipment, I found out, I wasn't paying attention, and I put the piece of brass that I polished down, reaching for another piece of brass, and my hand drifted over, and the saw blade caught the glove with my thumb. So and you can't see it on the camera. It cut halfway through my thumb, cut this finger completely off. I mean, and this finger completely off. This one was still in the glove on the other side of the garage. This one fell behind the workbench. This one got mangled. I mean, it was just a little tip hanging there, and they just cut it off. And then this one just got nicked. So I cut halfway through my thumb, completely cut off the index finger and the middle finger. This one got mangled, and this one just got nicked. I slipped and fell, and my dad was behind me. And he said to me, "What happened?" Well, and I held my hand up. So imagine I hold my hand up, and there's this little piece of finger hanging here. These are gone. Not a lot of blood because it was cold, and all the blood is pulled into your body. And I turned around. I won't tell you the exact words I said, but I said, "I just cut my fingers off." And my poor dad was never the same around World War II. So they took me to the hospital. My mom had just read a Reader's Digest article about putting fingers and things back on when they get cut off. So she found both fingers, put them on ice. We got to the hospital. 2 doctors spent 19 and a half hours reattaching these fingers. This one couldn't be fixed. This one was okay. They just had to kind of splint this one because it was only cut halfway through. And I was left-handed to begin with. And the funniest part about this is years ago I used to do a lot of school talks. I just can't fit them into my schedule now. And so I would always be, when I was talking in front of a bunch of kids, I always waited for somebody to notice that this finger was missing. And then once you'd see somebody notice it, and they would get this look in their faces, and then they would tap somebody near to them, and you see it pass on, and then have to explain, hey, be careful when you're working with power tools. Don't do stupid stuff like I did, and you lose a finger. So, and I was left-handed to begin with, so I had minimal impact. Gave some doctors great practice, and I think, if I remember correctly, I was the first person in the Cincinnati area to have 2 fingers reattached, and the surgeons did a marvelous job. And you can see, so here are my hands, and if you look, you can see how much I lost right there. So you can see how much shorter these are than the other ones. That's how much got cut out. So I hope that wasn't too gross, but it's the truth. That's exactly what happened. And I never use a saw with leather gloves on anymore, unless I'm using a chainsaw out in the, So Matt Duncan, that's what happened to my finger. Okay. Okay, Jeff Beechler, no snow yet. Okay, Rachel Turco said, sorry, she just got here. What is severe risk for this week's weather? I don't think there's any risk. Even Friday, just the chance of a stronger storm or two, but it looks like no tornado chances. And same thing, Jeff. If there's a severe storm, it would be a severe storm, just an isolated, barely severe storm. We're not looking at anything really powerful at this point. Christina said, God's going to fix your fingers, Steve. Amen. Okay. Thank you, Christina. Okay. What'd you say? Remo Williams, it looked like a meat packer or a tin knocker. You know, that's interesting you would say that, Remo, because my dad, I used to live in Southern California for a short time when my dad got transferred out there when I was in high school. And we had a friend who was a woodworker, and he used to do a lot of planing. He had a bench plane, and he had these missing because he one time ran a piece of wood over, it broke, and the plane just clipped his 2 fingers, and so he's missing those. So when you say you look like a meat packer or a what'd you say? Look like a meat packer or a tin knocker. I understand what you said, Remo. Oh, and Fred wants to know the prediction for the winter. Okay, the winter prediction, it's a little bit early to talk about that, but right now, looks like we're going to be in a La Nina pattern. It's the opposite of last winter. That means the water along the equator is cold, and when you talk about from Asia to South America along the equator, go 5 to 10 degrees either side, you got like 5 times the land area of the lower 48 states. And so if the water there is cold, it really impacts the entire global circulation. So typically, a winter that is a La Nina winter is active, it's mild, and it's fairly wet. And because it's fairly wet, that means we could have a little bit more snow than normal, but that's very iffy at this point. So. Okay. Okay, there are a couple comments. I'm not really sure. I'm just going to avoid them. So, okay, that's it for now. Thank you very much for joining me. Hey, and I don't mind. Somebody asked me about my fingers missing, and if you want to know, I don't care. It's been a long time. I was 30 years old. It was over 40 years ago, and it's always been a pretty good conversation piece, especially when I used to talk to kids in elementary schools, because you could see, they'd see it and they'd go around and they'd just be staring. And then I'd have to stop talking about the weather and explain what happened. Okay, that's it. I'll be back tomorrow at 7:15. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you got some interesting information about that. We'll have more on what by then should be Hurricane Ernesto. Again, it's expected to stay off of the continental United States, may affect Puerto Rico. And we'll have more on what's going to happen as we head toward the weekend and that sticky weather coming our way Thursday into Friday. So that's it. Thank you.